Hello and welcome to another video. Well, I say another like I've done loads. This is the second one, or maybe, the third if you're being generous and calling that little one a video. But anyway, here we are. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't tidy the garage out, which is a real shame, and I'm heartbroken, as I'm sure you can tell from my voice. The fluorescent tube bulby thing has stopped working and I can't get a replacement straight away, so there'll be no light out there for doing anything. So I've come into the conservatory, which makes me sound very posh, and I'm not posh at all. It's really a chilly, drafty dumping ground come place to put plants that need help. And yeah, so sort of like, think of it as a cross between Plant ICU or ENA and where you put the stuff you think that might come in handy, but I don't want it in the house. So we're in a corner there anyway, and it's nice out here. All the windows are open, doors open, so we're safe from the smells of this chap here. I hope you can see that okay. So this is Mr. Super Clear Matte. Make sure you get the matte one, and it's by Mr. Hobby. This is really good stuff. I've used quite a lot of Mr. Hobby stuff over the years. I've been customizing and messing around with figures for, gosh, I don't even know now, 20 odd years, I suppose. Everything from Hot Toys, Sideshow, all sorts anyway. But this is really good stuff. This is what takes the shine away. This is what you need. I'm pretty sure this is on eBay. No, not eBay, sorry. Well, it probably is. Amazon. I got it from a mail order UK-based hobby shop. It was about 9-10 quid. Not a lot of money. And there's loads in there. It will do you for ever and ever, particularly when you look at such a small scale as this. So that's that one. That's what you want. And this is what I've been using to do the weathering on the Indiana Jones figures. Again, this I did get off of Amazon actually. It can be a bit trickier to find this, but it's worth looking for and finding. This works really well on plastic like we've got here. Also, it works really well on 1/6 scale clothes and bodies and anything like that. Anything you want to weather, it's really good for. I know a lot of people use it to weather like model kits of tanks or general army sort of gear, but really good stuff. There's lots of different like palettes, if you like. If you imagine, like, ladies have makeup with different colours in, that's kind of what this is. So you've got, this one's really nice for what we want because it's got like a sandy colour, a dark sort of colour, and this sort of grubby green, which is quite good. Even comes with its own little applicator, but if you want to, you can get in there with your fingers and smudge it about, although I wouldn't recommend it on this size because this is a very small scale. Or you can get a little paintbrush if you've got a little paintbrush handy. Just go in there, get a bit on the brush and pop it on. So let's have a look at that, shall we? So this is the brand new, fresh out of the box Dial of Destiny Indy that I mentioned in my last video. So he's a shiny boy, and like I say, I don't like shiny. I'd like him to be matter. So we'll give him a little bit of light weathering, just a little bit, just so I can show you how I do it. Then it's up to you how heavy you go with it. I mean, they did some lovely work weathering the jacket on this one. As you can see, there's quite a few nice little patches on it. But unfortunately, the shirt really could have done with like just a light wash, because there's some beautiful details there, but they get lost, particularly if you try and do any toy photography with these figures and you put some lights on them. Instantly you've got lots of glare off that shiny plastic, and I think that can spoil what would be a good photo for you. It spoils the realism somewhat. So anyway, here we go. Let's pop you there for a second, Indy. You stay there, it's a good boy. So I've got my little applicator. As I said, that comes with the little weathering set, and you've got a foamy pad one end and a little brush the other. Now for something light like this, I'd recommend the brush, because that gives you a much lighter touch and softer go. But if you're doing a larger area where you want some heavier weathering, you can use this side because you get a lot more of the product on there, which you then rub onto the figure wherever you want. So let me give you a little example of some of that. So here we go. So let's go into the sandy boy here. Get a bit on the brush like so. I hope that's clear enough for you guys. It's hard to see with my half-assed rubbish setup I've got going on. I'm going to grab the figure and we're just going to give him a light brushing up and down on this leg. For one thing, that's going to help dull that all down, dull the shine, and bring out all those lovely details that are moulded into the figure. So there you can see already we've done one leg, and that leg, in my opinion anyway, depends on what you guys want to do with your figures, it's up to you, looks much better than that leg. Also, I must say, Hasbro, whatever they were thinking with the colour when they come to the Dial of Destiny trousers. They're much lighter in the film. I mean, I've seen pictures of the screen used costume, I've seen the film a couple of times now, and I don't know why they did them so dark. They shouldn't be that dark brown, it should be a lighter colour. But anyway, that's something, again, this can help. The heavier you go with your weathering, the lighter they can come out. And if you wanted to, you could even repaint the trousers and then give them a seal up with the clear, Mr. Super Clear stuff. So let's do the other leg as well, because otherwise it's going to look odd. We need to be matching, don't we? A little bit of light brushing up and down, like so. Get a bit more on there. Just tickle it across his boots, because again, it helps bring out the sculpt details, makes things pop. And look, how easy was that? What was that, 5 minutes work? And they're all looking a lot better already. Now to do the shirt, you can use the same brush again. What I tend to do is I'm going to use a lighter colour on the shirt because I don't want it to be quite that dark and heavy. I'm just going to give the brush a little tickle off on my finger and get any of the, we'll get the majority of the dark colour off. Then we're going to dive back into the palette again, get a bit of the sandy colour on there, and then we go into just very gently. It's about building up sometimes this, rather than going in mad and heavy. You don't want to go in too heavy too quickly. Depends on what look you want, obviously. If you're going to do a really heavily weathered battle damage looking figure, then by all means just get loads on and go mad with it. And the other good thing about this stuff is, say you do go too far, or you do something and it goes wrong and you think to yourself, oh God, I don't like that, God, I wish I hadn't done that, what am I going to do? Just wash it off. Get a baby wipe on him, run him under the tap even, you know, it'll come off. It's good stuff. So look, as you can see, that's taken the shine off of that shirt, and at the same point it's brought out those lovely details. All the crinkles, creases, pockets, buttons are popping now and looking much better. Let me just give the back of the trousers a go before we start having a look at how the clear coat stuff works. As I said, remember, you want the matte one, not the gloss one. There's probably a few different variants, but if you just Google Mr. Super Clear by Mr. Hobby matte spray, you'll find it. And then obviously just make sure that that looks like the one you're looking at. And it'd be about a tenner. And I said it'll last you for ages and ages. Get a bit more around the bottom of the trousers. Build it up a little bit there, because obviously that's a point where he's going to get a lot of traction and dirt from up off the floor. This is just obviously a very quick and dirty demo for you guys. If you're going to do it yourselves, I suggest you go a bit slower and take it a bit steadier, and perhaps pick out details and areas that you think might be high weather, such as obviously knees, elbows, cuffs, that sort of thing. But look, already I think our Indy is looking much better than he did when he came out of the packet about, well, a few hours ago now. So again, that's the stuff you want. I've got a barcode on to show you, I'm afraid, but if you just type that in, and as I said, remember, lots of different sets. This has got sand, light sand and mud, but you can get different sets for different applications and different purposes. So try and get this one if you do an Indy, because I can't think of a better one than you find than that for Indy. It's got all the good colours in it. And there's your Mr. Super Clear. That hasn't got a barcode either, I'm afraid. Sorry guys, but that is the boy. And what we're going to do now, as I said, we're in a well ventilated area. I've got my classy cardboard box set up here, so we're not going to overspray onto the floor or the wall or anything like that. Windows are open. Good shaky. Pop the lid off, and then from about this sort of distance, which I guess is probably about what, 7-8 inches, you're just going to do a short blast and a wiggle over. Does that make sense? So short blast and wiggle. So here we go. Just like that. Then I'm going to get behind him. There we go. And yes, that is a very strong smell. It's not an unpleasant smell, but I'm sure it's probably not good for you if you're inhaling lots of it. Perhaps even wear a mask if this is something you're going to do. And don't do it on a carpet or, you know, your grandma's sofa or near a cat or dog or anything like that. It's, you know, it does say on the back that it's not nice stuff. There are warnings, look. This is nasty. Do not freebase, etc. So there he is now. We've given him a quick spray up. Again, a bit rough and ready, just for showing you guys in the video. But after about 20-30 minutes, that's how long I'll leave him standing here. That will be enough for the stuff to not be fully cooked, but dry to touch, and you won't be leaving any finger marks or sticky patches. It says on the instructions it takes 24 hours to fully harden. So I guess, you know, for the first day or so after doing something like this, just go careful. No extreme posing. Don't put him around too much, because you run the risk of upsetting the coat. Now, when it comes to sort of like half an hour, 40 minutes time, if you're happy with how unshiny he is or the finish you've achieved, then by all means, you're good to go. But if you want to, you can add another coat. You could probably add 3 or 4 coats before you start to really worry about anything like, you know, restricting movement or anything like that. Also, I think this is quite good stuff. Say you had a loose joint, elbow, knee, whatever. A bit of this would just tighten the joint up if you had sprayed it on a looser figure, I suspect. But as I said, it works really well. All of my figures I've sprayed, some have had a couple of coats, and they've all still got a really good range of movement. It hasn't impeded them in any way. I'd say it takes that plastic shine away and makes it look a more premium product, if that doesn't sound too stupid. But anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful. I'll pop the video up and you know what to get and what to do, and don't be frightened, just go for it. I mean, like I say, if you're going to do the weathering part, if you don't like what you've done or you think you've gone too far, it'll just wash off with normal water or a baby wipe or something like that. You know, if you really wanted to go to town, get a little toothbrush on him and give him a little like spritz up to take it off again. So you can't do any harm with this at all. You know, it's not permanent if you don't want it to be. But then once you put the matte Mr. Super Clear on, it is permanent because it's sealed then into the figure. And that's what takes away the shininess. So even if you didn't want to weather, I'd just suggest this. I've done all of my indie figures with it now. And I can see I'll probably end up doing all of them in the future. Actually, that's not true. The only one I didn't do was Marion, because for some reason, out of the packet, Marion just looked lovely. She hasn't really got any shine to her. I don't know if they did something in the factory. There's some quite intricate printing on her shirt and her blouse sleeves. So it could be that there's a different process they've used on her, which has led to her being not shiny. But anyway, there we go. That's all you need to do. And if I can do it, you can do it. Because, as I said, I'm not much use. And it's really simple. And like I say, you can't really go too far wrong. When you come to the spray, just a short wiggle over spray. Don't go too mad on your first attempt, because like I say, you can build up layers if you're not happy, but leave about 40 minutes between each spray if you want to do a couple of layers, or leave it a day. That's probably what I'd recommend best of all. Give it a day to completely go off. You'll know exactly what your finish is like then, and if you're still thinking he's a bit shiny, hit him with another coat. No harm done at all. And also, most things like this are probably best slept on rather than, you know, just go mad at it and like pile loads on. Because obviously if you put loads on, you are gonna, I should imagine, see some runs or ripples or distortions, or it could, you know, then come to a point where it clags up some of the joints if you get too much in. So short spray from about 7 inches away, and he's looking lovely. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you always have a good day, and be nice to everybody. Don't cost anything.